Hello, today we're going to walk through a very common reporting use case, which is delta reporting. Delta reporting is when you want to see the difference between how many new things were created versus how many were retired. So for example, we're going to take a look at how many incidents are logged versus how many incidents are resolved. It could be day by day, it could be week by week, or it could be month by month. And you could really use this for any process, but we'll use incident management as an example. With Explore Analytics, we'll be able to get a real-time delta report and the long-term trend in one report in just a few clicks. So now I'm in Explore Analytics, and I'm going to start by creating a new view. With Explore Analytics, the way that we're going to tackle this is by combining two reports, one that has the created and one that has the resolved, and then we're going to take the delta between them. So I'm going to start by saying I want to use my ServiceNow data source, and I'm going to use the incident table to gather those created. So we'll do incidents opened by month report. And you could present this information in a number of different ways, but we're going to start with a visual chart. And I'm going to check off to add the new view to favorites so I can access it at any time. So it's going to create this initial report, and it's going to ask me what type of report we want to show. Again, we could do a bunch of different visualizations, but in this case, I want to show the timeline. Now with the timeline, the first thing we need to select is what we're going to be counting over time. And in this case, for this one, we want the amount that were opened by month. So we can see here a trend of incidents opened by month. Lastly, because we're going to be combining this with another report, it's very important that we relabel the label for the values. So this is going to be incidents opened. I'm also going to mark this off as hidden because we're going to be combining this with another report and we want to do a calculation based on that. We're going to hide it so that we don't have too many lines in the resulting report. So I'm going to click OK. If there's any additional filtering I need to do, I can click filter and use and or filters, but for right now I'm just going to leave it the way that it is. So now we have the first part, which is how many incidents were opened by month. I'm going to make a copy of this report so I can use it as a template, and we're going to do the same for incidents closed by month. You could go through the same steps and create it from scratch, but this just saves a couple clicks. In this case, I'm going to switch it from created to closed. And again, very important, I'm going to relabel this label to say incidents closed, and we'll see why in a moment. So even though I can't see it because it's hidden, we're looking at incidents by month, how many were closed. Now I want to combine these two reports I've just created together. This is using our Mashup capability. You don't need to be an administrator or set up anything like database views. We just go and say, let's create a new report, incidents delta by month. And we're going to select those two reports we created. One was called incidents opened by month. And you can see that I have this autocomplete. And incidents closed by month. I could add additional views if I want, but for right now, these two will work well. So now the Mashup feeds in the values and presents it in the same type of report. So you see that from one report, we have the incidents opened, and from the other report, we have the incidents closed, and they're both hidden so that they're not going to show up in this chart until we use it in a calculation. So now I'm going to click this calculator icon, and the delta is going to be the incidents opened minus the incidents closed. And we'll call this the delta. So now I can very easily see each month how many new incidents were opened, how many new incidents were closed, etc. That's it. This is the basics of building a delta report. We can walk through a couple more advanced components that Explore Analytics gives you beyond this initial report. With just a single click, I can actually put in a trend line, so I can see that we're slowly increasing that delta, which maybe isn't so good. Or I could even use something of an exponential function to more closely map how that trend has changed over time. I can also, with a single click, forecast. And let's configure that to say, give me 12 months and use the trend. So now I can see that even though over time it was increasing, more recently it's actually been slightly decreasing, and with this forecast I can see that lately we're slowly decreasing this and headed in the right direction. So not only are we able to see this long-term delta trend, but we're able to forecast based off of it. Now, because the report is live, it's also completely drillable, so I can drill through to see the list of all the incidents that were opened or closed during that span of time, or drill down to look at it week by week. The other thing that I can do with this is I can create a scorecard. So from the file, I can say create a scorecard view, and we're going to have this incidents by month delta. You'll notice that right now it's showing me that this has gone down, and we maybe want to color this so that it makes more sense. So I'm going to go into the up down, and you'll notice it asks the values in improvement when it's negative, the values in improvement when it's negative. And I can do the same for the secondary indicator, which is this percent change. Now there's a lot of flexibility you have here on how this is formatted and how this is produced, but you can see this very easily here. So I'm going to go and I'm going to publish this. I'm going to have it be a real time, so it's going to have the live information. In this case, I can publish it to ServiceNow. And if I walk through all of that, it's going to automatically create a URL that I could send, an embed if I wanted to put this in HTML, or in this case, it's also going to create a content block for ServiceNow. So if I go to my ServiceNow homepage, I can go and add content. And from the Explore Analytics section, I can select Incidence Delta and put that directly on my homepage. As we saw before, this is a real-time report. I can drill through to see the details of the chart that's below that. I can drill through to see the actual incidents that are in the details. And from there, I can open up the incident within ServiceNow and be able to take action on it. So you saw that in just a few quick clicks, we were able to move from having those individual pieces of information into having a long-term trend with forecasting, with underlying trend information. We're able to turn that into a quick executive scorecard and embed that in real time in ServiceNow. Thanks for joining. If you want to see similar use cases, you can explore the other videos in this channel. You can also sign up for a 30-day free trial through our website.